law, criminal justice. From that, now we're going to shift into some of the dietary laws. Still dealing with laws, but no longer crime and punishment. We're now looking to diet. To some degree, it's still related to crime and punishment because the first of the dietary laws concerns alcohol. And we know in Islamic law there is a punishment for it. Some 80 lashes, 40 or 80 lashes given to a person who's caught drunk, caught drinking. Now again, of course, Western society, which has taken, drinking to be a norm. In fact, people will even argue medically, as doctors say, that you take half a glass of wine with your meal, that it helps in your digestion. Some say it even lowers the chances of heart attack, this type of thing. However, it's fine. People can say this, and medicines in the West tend to be loaded up with alcohol because that was Western tradition. When people were sick, you give them alcohol, get them into a state of drunkenness. They forget their trials and their problems, their physical ailments, etc. This has been the tradition of Western medicine, whereas Islamic tradition has not been that. When people were sick, they were treated with herbs and things like this. They didn't use alcohol. This was not a standard foundation for Western Islamic pharmacology, whereas Western pharmacology, this is how it developed. So alcohol has become a part and parcel of Western life. Children are born drunk. Drinking has reached such proportions. From the Islamic perspective, we say weigh. Weigh the harm and weigh the benefits. If we weigh the harm and the benefits, we can see that the harm far outweighs the benefit. It has been shown that the number of lives lost as a result of drunk driving, violent and heinous crimes, when people are in states of intoxication, is a direct product of the widespread access to alcohol in the society. If we realize this and we compare it to the little benefits of digestion and possibly reduction of heart attack, this is like an elephant and a mouse on scales. We cannot compare them. The harm is far greater. In studies done in America, they pointed out that alcohol is involved in some 40% of the more than 50,000 annual road traffic fatalities yearly, and possibly over 500,000 injuries to persons, and in more than $1 billion worth of property damage. And based on published studies, Roizen summarized the percentage of violent offenders who were drinking at the time of the offense as follows: 86% of homicide offenders, 60% of sexual offenders, and up to 57% of men involved in marital violence. So when we have statistics like these, how can we seek to make this permissible? It's estimated that more than $2 billion is wasted as a result of health and welfare services being forced to deal with alcoholics and their families in the United States alone. Crude projections of the annual cost of alcoholism to the national economy of the United States range between $7 billion and $10 billion. So, when we see these kind of statistics, then we can't talk about the benefits. In the second chapter of the Quran, verse 219, Allah said there, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. They ask you about intoxicants and gambling. Say, there is great harm in both and benefit to people. However, the harm in them is greater than the benefit. So it's recognized, yes, there's going to be some benefit in all of these things. But the harm is far greater than the benefit. And this is why In the United States of America, between 1920 and 1933, alcohol was prohibited. Its production and sale was banned. The United States of America recognized. However, in the subsequent years following it, these laws were repealed. Repealed because of the fact that the society, the will to stop this thing wasn't really there. It is a drug. It is a serious drug. And people talk about, cocaine and the other drugs. But this drug is, society, because it's so attached to it, it cannot deal with it as a major drug, harmful drug to society, which should be prohibited totally. What you find is that ultimately its prohibition will not be successful in a society